give you more than just the shape of things. Break every word, begin it all again. Your name on a white sheet, purely shot with passion. But as love lies bleeding in your hand, heaven sends you promises of making ways. No white waves on an ocean, no gems from a golden age. Life in your new world, turning round and round. Some make some sense, well there's no sense at I've given you no promises, but if you should fall, no promises, but if you should fall, you fall. No promises, but if you should fall.
Traveling in a freighter from me on a hippie trailhead full of zombies. I met a strange lady, she made me nervous. She took me in and gave me breakfast. And she said, do you come from a land down under? Where women go and men don't go. Can't you hear the thunder? You gotta run, you gotta take cover. We are living in a land down under. Where women go and men don't go. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover.
Hey. Just making some small adjustments here. Hey, how is everybody? It's Casper here from Brisbane. I'm doing my Aussie Rules. Haven't done one. Did a test the other night. Worked out fine. So I was hoping to coordinate this with my website so I could put the audio on it after I was finished, but my website is not finished yet, but it is being worked on. A friend of mine is spending a bit of time doing it in his spare time. He does our work website, so he seems pretty good and knows what he's doing. So, but I'm hoping that I didn't realize what's involved. There's a few people would know what's involved in creating a website and how much you want to have on it, and it's never ending, and I think you can pump quite a bit into it, and then you have to sign up with all these other services that that contribute to your website, and it's complicated, because I want to put audio on there, so then you have to have something for audio, and then I want to put pictures on there, so you have to have this gallery thing, and anyway, so my web designer keeps sending me a list of things that I need to complete, and I've done most of them. He sent me 3 things yesterday, and I did 2 of them. The other one is still to be completed, but he said we can do that together at work or something like that. So yeah, I'm getting there. He didn't send me. I know I got to register the domain, but he didn't send me that details. But anyway, amount of money I waste lately. I can certainly run a website, that's for sure, and it's going to be mobile friendly too. So a lot of people might want to listen to podcasts on the phone, and they can listen from the site. I'm also thinking of I want to look into it because I see other people doing it. I want to look into what's involved in putting your podcast on iTunes or whatever. I don't know what's involved. I need to research it a little bit, but I don't think I'll go that far because it's not. It's just my thing, and it lucky to get 30, 40 people or something a week watching it or listening to it or something. So it's no big deal. So anyway, I guess there's a fair bit to talk about, and this is from my own personal point of view. It's my opinion. That's why it's called Auzzie Rules, and there's a lot to talk about. So I've done the website information. So I reckon my website will be up in maybe within the week, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the audio from this show. I might stick it on YouTube. I might just save it and put it on later. I'm not really sure. I guess for me personally, the biggest news or stuff that's been going on, I think is the GPN closure or shutdown or whatever you want to call it. That really surprised me, the way that it ended so abruptly. And you can I can still see and read and feel the wave effect that it's giving off as far as the people that were involved in there, and I have a lot of sympathy. It takes balls to do. It really does takes balls to do a podcast or any type of show. Let me just reply to this message. Thank you. And I actually I know that people get offside, and it's happened with myself, and I sit back and I see people fighting back and forth. I see people fighting back and forth all the time, and it probably doesn't matter whether you're American, Canadian, or English or Australian. There's just so much fighting going on all the time, and people putting each other down, and people just they love to bash other people, and sometimes it's just for attention, and I don't know, sometimes it might be for real. I mean, there's some real life stuff goes on, people go out and dox people and make life difficult for their work or their businesses or something like that, and I just think it's just, I don't know, it's too ugly. Like for me personally, I work for a small company, and when I went online and I sort of saw this happening to people that I knew, whether they were people that I liked or not, I just thought, that's really serious. Like, that's really like going really too far. But I actually spoke to my bosses and I said, look, blah blah blah, and this, this has been known to happen, and we're all like, well, let them call, we'll just laugh at them, or like I just put it out there, so I didn't want anything like that to happen, so because I don't really hide too much, so but the GPN was really interesting because I gotta give Jeff Hansen, if that's his name, I really don't know. I got to give him credit because, regardless of of who people say he is, or if he's got a record, or he's a felon, or I don't care about that. I was just judging him on this. His setup was pretty good. He had like big bugs in the early stages, and being like an amateur podcaster, like I watch people, and try to learn from them, and originally I was watching, Podtrash and Woosh's setup and stuff like that, and his mixer and all that sort of stuff. And I started off too big, and I just went back to small. And I've got a friend in Melbourne. He helped me out a little bit as well with some advice. And I googled and YouTubed a hell of a lot to learn how to set certain things up. And I also had friends on here that helped me, like Fancy helped me with OBS originally. He put me on the right track. So I playing around with all the input things that you can put in there and stuff. So as with my intro, I'm getting better. So, but as of late, I've been watching a little bit of that Jimmerman stuff, and his fucking production is fucking awesome. He does these intros to his shows, and I'm fucking just fantastic. So yeah, I don't know how he does that. Even like I don't know if he does that himself. I mean, I know some people don't work a lot. Maybe they have a lot of time. I mean, I'm a full-time worker, and I like to go out to the club and stuff. So my home time is not as great as I would wish. So maybe I'm just not putting enough effort into learning how to do it. I mean, I had to get Doc Ivan to do my graphic, Auzzie Rules graphic there for me, because I couldn't even do that. Like, I could do it once I'm shown, but I just don't know where to start. So, but anyway, GPN. And it's sort of like, I know that people that were fighting with GPN, or the people that didn't like GPN, are all celebrating that it's gone, it's shut down or whatever. And but I don't know. I saw a Periscope. I think it was a Periscope the other day, or Periscope. Yeah, I think Brain did a Periscope, and Jeff came on, and he was he wanted to bash all the services that you have to have, and how much they charge you for doing what the sort of podcasts that he wanted to do. And I was just like, fuck, that's, and I originally said to myself that it had to be the money that shut him down. And I may be wrong, but my personal feeling was that it was just too fucking expensive. And he wasn't getting any return. And I don't know if he ever thought he was going to get a return, or, and I wanted to clear up with something else too. So I emailed Jeff. It was about 3 days or so afterwards, when there was no shows, and I was just sort of like not really believing what I was reading. I just waited, and then so I emailed him, and he wrote back, and he gave me that comment about selling it for 6 figures. Well, I was a little bit annoyed because I knew it was a lie, and I showed somebody who decided that he asked me if he could post it. So, but yeah, afterwards I thought, I shouldn't have. Nah. So I apologized to Jeff for that. I sent him a reply back, but I don't think it really matters. I think there was a lot of lies and mistruths going on through the whole thing. But if you just strip that away and talk about the actual podcast, the actual studio and the setup, I thought it was quite good. Oh, I apologize if I have any noise coming through, because I think it started raining outside, and I am next to a window that I do have shut, but I can hear. I hope that, I don't know if that's coming through, guys, but yeah. Anyway, I thought the setup wasn't bad, and other podcasters, maybe not as open-minded as me, go, oh, it was shit, or this was shit. Yeah, in the beginning, it was really lame. and they kept crashing all the time. And I don't understand what services they were originally using, and then he would then improve that. And obviously it costs money. Everything costs money. And anyway, I was sad to see some of the shows go, because it's the only way that I can see some of these people, for instance, like and I mean, Ryan Lever wasn't probably at the right time to catch Ryan Lever. Ryan Lever will always be loved and hated by people. I personally have a soft spot for Ryan. I feel sorry for his situation, and Crystal's keeping an eye on him, and I think Ryan will probably always be fighting the addiction demon, and I think unless you have an addiction, you don't really know how bad it can get. And he was even, still taking while trying to get better. So he's obviously he obviously needs to be in an environment where he's consistently watched and no outside contact with others and no drugs. And I don't think he's in the right right place to get that treatment. I don't know, and I think by the looks and sounds of it, everybody's given up on him, and it's a shame, because I always think that it's never too late to turn it around. You give people chances. I know in my personal life, given lots of people chances, and then the 3 strikes you're out maybe type concept is not too bad. But anyway, getting back to GPN. Yeah, I missed some of the shows, and in my opinion, that thing just grew way too fast. It really reminds me of this company I used to work for when I was down in Sydney, and this company brought my company, and they tried to grow so fast. And for the first maybe few, in a company terms, for the first 6 months, it was fucking like the green grass. It was so good. The share price was high. Employees had shares and were given the same amount of shares that they purchased, and I made a killing out of the shares, right? But in the long term, if you grow too fast, you can't keep expecting to grow at that growth rate every year. It's impossible. Unless you keep buying companies and become like a multinational. But I think the podcast grew too fast. The lineup changed every second day, and they started adding all these. They're adding all these people, but half the people, because I'm Australian, half the people I didn't even know. I had to do a little bit of googling on them, but obviously for Americans or whatever, they knew who people like Mary Carey and this Mackenzie or whatever. I didn't know who they were until I did a little bit of research, and then I actually listened to an old Howard Stern show that actually had Mary Carey on it, and she was fucking crazy back then. And then originally it started off with Brain was came to Rabbit. He joined the Kermit Town Frogs, whatever you want to call them. He joined them in there, and then he had his craziness about him and that, but he's sometimes he was, whenever I talked to him privately, he was absolutely fine. But anyway, he was I think he would admit himself that he sort of gets easily triggered, and there were certain things that triggered him, and Ava was a trigger, and as things that would trigger him, and I could see a lot of things. He would be quiet for a long time, and then he would bottle them up, and then he would just like what he's doing now, actually. Then he put his, what I could see, heart and soul into this GPN thing, and maybe he was led astray. I'm not really sure, but he had something, and then it was taken away. So the guy was, I guess, not very happy, and I can see him lashing out now and stuff. But I've always been friends with Brain, and I've don't always have to agree with him, and he doesn't always have to agree with my comments or whatever. But I just let him do what he wants to do. I mean, it's a free country, right? Fuck, it's pissing out rain down there. Fucking good time to do a podcast. I didn't know it was going to rain. Anyway, so I'm sad that GPN, I guess, is gone. I wish they maybe had stayed at a lower level. Like Jeff had from what I saw, the pictures of the studio and stuff, he had fucking very sweet setup. Very sweet setup. I don't care what his personal life is like, or whatever. And I thought he was half decent on the mic. He had a good voice. He didn't have any dead air. He could just talk. Brain wasn't really himself when he was doing the brainstorming or something with Jeff. I thought maybe Brain was good, but Brain will admit that he's lazy. He doesn't prepare. You never know. I gave him some tips, but he doesn't prep. He flies by the seat of his pants. But that's fine. I was sad to see it end, and you know, like I know they got the high pitch there. You know, high pitch I guess attracted some audience, a certain audience, stern audience. I listened to a lot of that old fucking high pitch Eric stuff when he was on the show about how he used to always threaten people and I'm gonna stab you, you know, all that sort of shit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm listening to Brain's Periscope. He's telling me that it's all fake. Guy's been faking it for years, so I don't know. I know he's a bit of a scammer, con artist, whatever, but I don't know. That's all Howard Stern stuff, but I think I like to listen to a lot of different podcasts. I can't take, you know, I listen to different people's opinions and stuff, and I guess I do have my own opinion, but I'm not willing to argue the point with people about it. It doesn't amount to anything. So I love to listen to. I'll give you an example of what I like to listen to. I got a lot of podcasts on my phone. You know, I got some Australian stuff that I listen to, right? But I like to listen to Quinn's wrestling podcasts. Okay, and people would know Quinn, who know me, who know Quinn. Yeah, she used to. I think she came to Australia or was dating an Australian actually out not that far from me, probably an hour from here or something. And now she's in California, I think, with her parents. But then I just read, I think lately on Twitter, that she's got a job or something and that she's going to move out. But so I wanted to ask her about that. I actually wanted to have her on the show sometime, but it's never been a good time to ask her. But I think she struggles just doing her own wrestling shows. So she used to be around quite a bit. She used to actually even go into Rabbit and stuff, but she stopped going there and whatever. I don't think it was good for her, so I think she dropped it. So I listen to Pod Trash. The shows I listen to Pod Trash is sometimes I listen to Whoosh's What Is This. Sometimes I listen to John the Magic Guy's show, and I definitely every week listen to Technical Holocaust because I like Andy and Janela and Grouse and all that. It's a cool sort of just it reminds me of the old hangout days. I love those old hangout days where they just sit there and then when they want to talk, they just talk, and then one will be quiet for a while because they're just hanging out. They're not all trying to hog the mic or. I like the flow of that show. It's very good. It's like an old hangout. So now I see Brain is bashing High Pitch because he's I don't know if he's stirring him up or it's just a bit or what, because 1 minute he's bashing him and then High Pitch will do a fucking Periscope and bash Brain and then Brain does one and puts Eric's fucking DMs on as the background. That's so funny today. I had to laugh when I was reading it behind him. That was funny. So and what's everyone else doing now? Well, now GPN's gone. I guess all those celebrities, or what do you call them? D-type celebrities. I guess they just fade away or whatever. I'm curious to know how much it cost Andy to get Andy Dick to do a show, because originally I heard he wanted like some crazy amount. So I don't really know if he ever got. Oh, I heard 1,000 a show, but that can't be right? I mean, who can possibly afford that? Are you crazy? So anyway, what I see lately is I see Crystal. I see Crystal trying to set up her stuff to do some type of show. Well, not maybe show, but a podcast. I don't know what you want to call these things, but and I went on last night. Actually, it was early this morning, like really early this morning, about 1 o'clock in the morning. I went on to help her see whether she can patch me in on Skype or something, and it seemed to work okay. Unfortunately, she doesn't have fantastic internet, so it didn't work out very well. But I talked to her for a while, and there was another guy on there called Joe or something, and I could hear him okay. But it wasn't studio. Definitely wasn't studio quality. It was very amateurish. I think Crystal's been doing this for a while. I think she needs. I was thinking like, hell, maybe she could just go over to Diana's, and at least she would have steady, decent internet, because I think she's trying to hook up to that Wi-Fi in the hotel, and I don't know what the speed of that fucking that router would even be on, but it'd probably be pretty cheap. If it's only like a sort of cheapish motel, I don't think the Wi-Fi would be that good. Whenever I used to get down to Sydney and then go to a motel, the Wi-Fi was always shit. My fucking 4G data was faster than the Wi-Fi. So, but anyway, yeah. Excuse me. I look forward to I look forward to listening to Crystal. I know, again, Crystal's another one of these, love her, hater type people, but I mean, she has these trolls and haters and stuff, but that's okay. As I said before, I like anybody who gives it a go. My friend Fancy, who's going to come on soon, because I've still got a few things to do, talk about. He does Periscope every now and then, and he used to do a SoundCloud and all that, and I really like anybody who gives it a go. I'll listen to anybody's stuff. Did I go through my other what else? There's also my other podcast. So I went through a couple of Aussie things that nobody would know about. Then Pod Trash, a couple of shows on there. Oh yeah, of course the Kleenex show is now has moved over to Pod Trash. I don't know what's been going on over there at Rabbit. I haven't been in Rabbit for about 3 weeks. Every time I was feeling like, hey, I'm laying down, maybe I'll just go over there, whatever. I go over there and there's only 3 people online. So it's just a bad time. And I don't get my invites. I turn my invites off so I'm not tempted because of the time difference. It's just no point. And I'm really busy. So I go in there and I see, so-and-so invited me to a room 7 hours ago or something like that, which is pointless. So I don't... with the time difference, I just can't get in there at the right time. So yeah, and plus, it was kind of a little bit toxic. I'm trying to get a better balance in my life. Talking about that, obviously, I have been going out a fair bit, and I've been gambling. I've been gambling a fair bit, and I'm sure Brain can relate. He used to be a bit of a gambler, a big gambler too. And, I've been, calculating things and probably spending too much money. So I have to pull my head in and not gamble so much. I have to get a better balance. Soccer season has started again, even though my knee's stuffed at the moment. So I'm going to try to put some effort into other areas, maybe even doing more podcasts and stuff like that, and on my website. So I'm very busy at work. So I follow, over in Australia here, I'm a big follower of the V8 supercars, which I know probably means nothing to most people that listen to this. It's just like a form of racing. So you've got your Holdens and your Fords, and there's also Nissans in there as well. There used to be Volvos, but they dropped out. And next year there's going to be Camaros or something. But it's traditionally always Ford versus Holden. It's like just that Australian battle. And then with the major factories closing in Melbourne, I don't know, it just doesn't seem such a big deal anymore as far as the actual Holden versus Ford. And I've always been a really, really big supporter of a driver called Craig Lowndes. And Craig was the first and only driver that's ever made me not care about the brand. And I don't care about, I grew up as a Ford person, and in Australia, there's this like Fords hate Holdens and Holdens hate Ford drivers type going on, but anyway, it says me who drives a Mazda now, brand new Mazda. But anyway, I used to drive a V8 Ford. So Craig married a lovely lady called Natalie long time ago. So and my then girlfriend and I used to write to them because they were a young couple and we were a youngish couple back then. This was a while ago. And they used to write back and I don't know. Then, obviously my girlfriend went back to Melbourne and I eventually moved to Queensland, blah, blah, blah. And then I do like reading, and then I learned that Craig and Nat got divorced long time ago, and anyway, saw her on Facebook, so I made a comment or something, and then we ended up talking, and now I'm talking to Natalie Nouns, and she's a really nice girl, and well, I think she is, and she's got 2 kids, and she lives about I'd say 45 minutes from here, out towards where my sister lives now, or a bit further on than where my sister lives, and she wanted to buy something from my company, or interested in something from my company, which that's what started our conversation. But I just thought it was, and I told her how it's a small world. Used to write to you like 15 years ago, and she goes, "Oh, you probably thought it was Craig writing back. That would have been me." And I went, "No, I knew it was you writing back." So, but that's yeah, I'm talking to Natalie Lowndes, which is pretty cool. So, what am I gonna? What else have? I have to make some notes today. Oh, yeah. Hey, there's lots of shows on at the moment. Hey, like I just discovered that Designated Survivor was back on, and I missed it. So I had to download like friggin' 8 shows or something, and I started to get back into that. It doesn't seem as good as what it was before. The conspiracies were a bit stronger, but Loving My Homeland, Walking Dead on a break? Fear the Walking Dead, and I see the crossover now. The people that were on Walking Dead, some of them have crossed over into Fear the Walking Dead. That's pretty bizarre, eh? And for some reason, I still watch that fucking Supergirl. I don't know why I fucking watch that. What else am I watching? I'm watching. Oh, look, I always loved NCIS. I'm really into the Gold Rush stuff. There's also the Gold Rush Parker's Trail, which has been going on. Watching that too. And Westworld has just come back on. I sort of got through Series 1 and tried not to get too fucking freaked out. But I'm going to give it a go. Season 2 has been a few shows out. Haven't watched any of them yet. So I'm going to get into that as well. And I think Colony's back on too. And Colony was a bit weird I think I watched... Series 1 was pretty good. I think 2 was sort of started to lose me, and now the 3. So, and the 100, for some reason, I've always liked the 100, even though it got pretty retarded there for a while too. So, yeah, they're the shows I'm watching at the moment. So I've got like probably... I don't know, 30 shows in my downloads folder at the moment, and I watch about half a dozen a day. I'll tell you, it's so hard to keep up with all the shows. Really, really hard. So, yeah. Also, you know how these shows or networks or whatever, they stream onto YouTube and all that. Like Jimmerman does it onto YouTube and stuff. And you have to have... They recently, like a couple of months ago or something, changed the rules. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I do have. I have like 1,050 or something. And you have to have so many viewing hours or something per year or something, which I probably don't have. And I went into I made a lot of money in the past with my AdSense account. Probably made, I don't know. The last thing I made like $150 in one period, and there was one clip that went viral. That I made a lot of money. So, but they changed the rules, right? So I went into my AdSense account. I've got like $86 here. They don't cash a check. They don't send you a check. Well, put in your account. Till you make at least $100. I think that's $100 either, whatever, US, AU, whatever. And I haven't got to the $100, right? And I'm not sure. I'm still getting lots of comments and views and stuff like that on my thing, and I can see my stats. I can see that I've got expected revenue there, but I don't know if it's actually going through or whether I've just been cut off. But the new rules are pretty tough. I mean, you have to be like almost a full-time fucking YouTuber to keep working on your channel to get all those views so that you can meet the criteria. I mean, it's fucking rough. So anyway, yeah, what else have we got written down? I'm gonna have Fancy call me. So yeah, the new intro I did myself, but I still think I'm going to improve it, but okay, let's have a look now. Let's see. Hello, Auzzie Rules. How may I help you?
Hey,
Hey,
yeah,
how are you,
it's
buddy?
raining here, bro. Yeah, I'm cool, man.
Is it raining there as well?
Yeah, it's raining here. I'll
Uh,
just close the window 1 second.
Okay. Oh, the actual window, not the window on your computer. The actual
No,
the actual
window.
glass window.
Yeah, the glass. It's raining here, yeah.
Yeah, I had to shut mine
What's up,
too.
man?
Oh, not much, not much. I was, we spoke the other night. We did the Skype thing the other night, and Jeff said, Jeff was like, so Casper, when are you going to do the next Aussie Rules? When are we going to do this? When are we going to do that? And I said, okay, we'll do it on the weekend because then we can get everyone's time together. Everyone can be
Yeah.
happy with the time. And then I
Yeah.
spend the weekend. I don't hear from him. He doesn't reply.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm also I'm a little bit unhappy with what he did. He got me, surprised. He just phoned me up. Remember we did that, what was it? We did that Periscope.
Oh, your
Periscope.
Periscope. Yes.
Yeah, I did my Periscope. When was
Yes.
that? Was that Thursday?
During the week, yeah, middle of the week.
Yeah, it was last week, right? Last week, Thursday.
Yeah.
He phoned me. He just like Skyped me. I didn't know my Skype was on, and the call came. So I didn't want to be rude and just cut it off and put myself offline because I didn't speak to him for a long time. So I answered the call. I was in the middle of something, and then we started talking. And he said, "Yeah, you want to do this, and you know what you can do is we can do this Periscope, and we can talk about this and talk about God and all that kind of stuff." And then I was like, okay, but he was like insisting we should do it like now. Then I said, okay, cool, we'll do it now. Just give me like 5 minutes to set up, and then I went to my room and I set it up, right?
Yeah.
Then he posted all the information to his people and stuff like that. But then we went on there, and then he wanted to talk about God, and he was going on with all his stuff, and then he was telling me like I can't control my I don't know how to control my podcast. So I was like kind of a bit confused the way the direction he was going and what was the whole thing about. And then as we went into the Periscope, further into the the whole discussion, he worked himself up into this rage, and then you came in. Then he was going on about Kleenex and all these things, right?
Mm.
And I didn't know how to handle it because it was just suddenly he wanted to discuss this thing, like what religion you believe in and all these lunatics of God and like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was something I wasn't expecting. And because I didn't speak to Jeff for a long time. So I didn't expect that kind of rage to take place. So I was caught off balance. I didn't know how to actually handle him in that situation.
Well,
But then what he did was, after that, he sent a message to me on Twitter, and he said, that was awesome and stuff like that, right? And I was like, yeah, that was great, man. But then he tells me he's going to upload it onto YouTube. You know what I mean?
so he recorded
And
it.
I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, like, you should have asked me first.
Yeah.
Can I upload it onto YouTube? Because like that was something that was done in my Periscope. I was on cam and everything. It was so heavy, the discussion.
Yeah.
There's like certain repercussions. People see that on YouTube, then they will say, "Oh fuck," that guy he's against religion. People misinterpret what's going on.
Well, I think the bottom line is, regardless of the subject, I think the bottom line is that was actually your scope, your show, and I wouldn't record it unless I asked you, and I wouldn't repost it unless it was okay with you. See, this is what used to happen in Rabbit, right? Where people used to record in Rabbit, including me back in the day, used to record in Rabbit and try to put it on YouTube for people that missed it, right? And too many people got upset. So I just said, fuck it. It's not worth anything. You don't make a cent on it, so why bother? You shouldn't maybe record it unless you check with the people.
I mean, like, I'm like recording it for your own personal use is fine. But now YouTube has changed its rules concerning content.
Yes.
So if I also have a YouTube channel. If they see that I'm violating their YouTube rules and the community things and all that shit that's happening now, I could be like
No.
also getting to.
No, you won't get the
What?
strike. He'll get the strike, not you.
But like, I mean, I'm there on cam, and like I'm sitting there and talking to this guy, and like I just feel that Jeff rushed me into that thing. I'm not saying that he did something bad to me or I'm hurt about it. I just feel that Jeff rushed me into that, and I was pressurized into him doing that.
You, Fancy, didn't know what his religion views were. I mean, I've always known that he's not a believer in any of that stuff. He likes to debate people and their religions. So I always knew that.
I know he's not a religious believer. I'm not really a staunch religious believer. I may be more spiritual, like I explained. But what I'm saying is he went on and on about Kleenex. He was talking a whole lot of bad things about that guy. He was fucking this, and he was going on, man. Like, and I didn't feel that it was the right time to do that because I didn't have a beef with Kleenex. He had something in Rabbit. He had an episode with Kleenex.
Yes, I
he
heard.
brought it there, and he got me involved. And it's almost as if he needed to take that frustration out and vent it out, and then we had to listen to that. And I couldn't say anything about it. And if I had to say anything, then I was like gonna get like, oh, fuck you, bro, this is wrong, and that kind of thing. So I don't know, like I feel if you're doing something live and you're doing a show or podcast and stuff like it, you should discuss something first and then do it, because like they've changed things now. Even Periscope has changed, and you know what I'm saying, like the community rules, like, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. No, I'm listening to you, buddy. Yeah. I look. I'm not religious either, and I don't like any. I don't like getting into religious debates. I just let people believe what they want to believe. I look for common things with people. Like I look for things that you and I have in common and like. I don't try to pick out the things that I don't like about you and talk about that. Like I find that silly. And same with Jeff. I've told Jeff many times I don't like talking to people when they've been drinking. I find the discussion very aggravating, and I just get hot under the collar. And but with Jeff, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if he's been drinking or not, or he'll tell me he hasn't been drinking, but sometimes I think he has. So, and then other times I talk to him, and he's absolutely normal and fine, have fantastic conversation. So I don't really know. And you can't seem to book a time with him. Many time like this weekend, he said we'll do it this weekend. I said yeah. I had a 3-day weekend or 3.5 day. 3-day weekend because I got today off, Monday, and I've been waiting for him to come online or to send me a message to ask me when I'm doing the show, and then I was going to try to work with you because you're only 1 hour behind me, so you're easy to work with. And he's now, I believe it's about 4 a.m. or something over there now. So, but he works. He had the plant shut down for cleaning, so he said he had time this weekend, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, but why didn't he discuss with me about him uploading me onto his YouTube channel? I just think that he needs to discuss things before he goes and just like
Yeah. Well, I didn't see it. Did he actually upload it? I didn't actually see that. I usually get a notification on my YouTube when people post stuff that I follow. Yeah, I didn't see it. Did you see it? Is it on his YouTube? Is it?
I didn't see it because
maybe he didn't post it. Are you sure?
I didn't see anything because he just told me on my Twitter. He sent me a message, and he told me that he's gonna do that. So I didn't. I just said, yeah, okay, cool. Because I didn't have a say in the matter. So even if I said no, he was just gonna say, "What the fuck, bro? Why doesn't matter?" And all this kind of thing. But like, I'm just trying to say, like, look, I'm tired of all of these things, man. All these like heavy stuff. It's getting to me. Like, I want to just do. If we're gonna do something, then let's just do a decent show, discuss things, and I want some kind of order. I don't like let's just like suddenly get like these, you know what I mean? Like this sudden surprise, and then
Yeah, I know. I have it. Look, I have a book here. I haven't got my camera plugged in at the moment, but I have a book here. All right, and when I do my podcast, I do my own agenda here. So I'll never be sitting here going, what am I going to talk about? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 things written down here that I talked about already, and then I was going to have you on. So I always plan it, right? And if I was going to do a show with you or Jeff or something, like a pre-planned show, I would say to you, okay, we're going to talk about fucking kangaroos and gun laws. You know what I mean? Like I would tell you what we're going to talk about, and I wouldn't say, hey, fancy. Why are you fighting with the Kleenex? You know what I mean? Or I wouldn't just add Kleenex to the call if I knew you were fighting with him. I wouldn't add him to the call. Do you know what I mean? Like without telling you.
I just wanted a bit of direction and some kind of
structure,
order,
mate. Structure, yeah.
Like some kind of civilized way of doing things. You know what I mean? Not like something that you feel this guy's gonna go and kill somebody, or like you plotting something so bad against this person. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want any more trouble, you know? I just feel that some of times it's people getting the wrong message, and like after that Periscope, I found people unfollowed me. A couple of people unfollowed me, and
really?
I even a few people unfollowed me, and even when I looked at my, like when I was having the view, like I did a scope after that a day later, like nobody came into the scope, and I felt like, okay, maybe Periscope was like now thinking we part of that heavy crowd, so you know we're not gonna be like treated well with traffic coming our way, and then I deleted the video after that, and then I don't know if you saw I had a scope yesterday. Hello?
Yeah, but you weren't talking. You were just sitting in yellow tennis.
Yeah, so yesterday
yellow tennis balls.
Then I was just playing music, and I got like without a sweat, within a few minutes I got like 23, 24 views, and I was looking at who these people were. Some of them were actually real people, like at least 10 of them, and I thought, oh, okay, so maybe there's a system to this whole view thing, you know. They give you views if you are decent enough, so that it goes according to Periscope's image, you know, it doesn't make them look bad, then they give you the correct views, they allow people to come in. And so I was like thinking, okay, well, I sat back, I thought about it, I said, you know, I think there's a system to how you get the proper views, like how they use this system. And I thought, okay, maybe that's what's happening here.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of bots on Periscope now. Have you noticed?
Yeah, but I think the bots they give to people that are not like are following the community rules according to them. So you'll find a lot of strange things happening. But when I look at some of the other people doing Periscopes and they're having normal discussions or they're talking about fitnesses, you should see the chat that's going on there. Real people, and they know them, and hi, how are you? This, that, and if you click on their profile, you'll go to their profile. They're also sharing videos. So I don't know. You know what I did? Yesterday I went onto my Twitter and I was saying, I blocked the people that I needed to block. And I apologized to Twitter. Sorry, it was my bad. I was following the wrong people.
What was that about? I didn't quite understand. But you told me, oh, Daz, don't worry about like the crazy stuff I do there. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
no,
you know,
don't
like,
worry
so,
about that. Yes,
I wasn't commenting because you were putting on all this stuff.
Yeah, but I did some reading a bit there. And then Periscope has been sending people emails. I don't know if you've noticed. Have you been getting any emails?
No.
They sent me three emails. All the emails were regarding the new change of the policy concerning the community and the image that Periscope is trying to promote. I have it here. I'll show you now. Where is it? I have it. They sent me 3 of this, okay, about the image and your protection in your data and what they use when you scope, and you should know that here's it here. Periscope update. Yeah. We believe you should always know what data we collect from you and how we use it. and that you should have meaningful control over both, right? Then it goes on here. Then they get to the part, privacy policy, and terms of service now covers both Periscope and Twitter. And then they write here, the minimum age to use Periscope is 16 years old. More focus on controls we offer, blah, blah, blah. Then they continue. Then they say, please read the terms of service. It will take into effect the 25th of May. And then they remember, and it goes on like that. They sent me 3 times that.
3 times.
3 times. I have that 3 times.
Shit.
And if you, then they insisting here at the bottom, please read the policy rules of the platform. And they're also saying, the other email says, we would like to make Periscope more friendly and more family orientated. And this is in regards to the new European Union's, what is this, internet policies that's coming about? I don't know if you know about that.
No.
So, so they send me this now. So it's almost as if the EU data protection laws that take effect next month, right?
Yeah.
So now they you know what happened to Facebook, right? They had to go to court, and the government.
I know about.
them,
I know about the gathering of data.
They starting to get scared about this thing that's going on, and they are basically covering their tracks now and basically trying to get themselves back in order and all that kind of thing, right? So I don't know then if you notice that now when you go onto Periscope, there's a different kind of a way of viewing something. It's not actually live. Then you have to click onto it to go into it. Then it's live.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
And then you go into that one, then it will be like heavy stuff. A guy will be cursing, ranting, or there'll be like a girl stripping naked or something like that. Or there'll be something. So the stuff that's not, how do you say, appropriate, it won't be live.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what that's what I did on Periscope. I apologized to them. I blocked all the trolls that I knew and I didn't know. I blocked all of them, and all the people that I actually know, even by face, and that I know this is decent, this person doesn't troll and all that. And then I kept them, and most of the people I'm following now on Twitter are verified people.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, looks like I shouldn't actually abuse the system anymore because I could get into trouble. And if they're sending me emails,
Fancy,
like that,
Fancy, how many followers do you have on Twitter?
let me see.
Because I have my tweets protected, right? And I don't really let I don't really let that many people follow me unless I know them.
I think at one stage I had quite a lot of people, and then what I did was followers. I have 151 followers from 255. I think I had before.
Well,
and I deleted a whole lot of.
When you lose followers, right? When you lose followers and you don't know who you've lost, you go into this "Who Unfollowed Me" on Twitter. It's on this website, and it tells you who unfollowed you. All the people that generally unfollow me, well, they're not unfollow me. Their account is either suspended or deleted. So I often wonder who the fuck they were because it's so hard to work out.
And then also a few days ago, they asked us to change our passwords on Twitter. You know about that?
Yeah, I had. I actually had some trouble with my email. There was some suspicious activity or something. I had to change my password.
Yeah, so there's been some strange things happening actually with all of this Periscope and Twitter and Facebook and the internet, and it's all to do with this whole privacy policy and how they're violating our privacy and all these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
So now, then that made me think, look, we shouldn't be so careless who we add and who we follow and who we associate with. Like Kleenex, remember Kleenex was beefing about this guy's a criminal and they're laundering money and they're the mafia and he's the rat and he's going to rat everybody out. And I don't know if you remember him talking about it.
Who was that? Kleenex?
Kleenex, yeah, on his scope.
No, I didn't. I must have missed that one. Did you like his show? Do you like his show?
His show is it's okay. It's okay. I think he can do better.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think that's the right crowd that he's in. I think he needs a show where
No. I think it is because when he first showed up, he was pretty wild, and everybody was pretty fascinated with him. And I remember it was a while ago. Everyone used to flock to his room to listen to his stories. I mean, whether you believed him or not, like, you know.
So now, what do you think?
Well, I
like
think
now?
he's just got a bit of a new audience there. They're going to think the same thing.
Is Whoosh Canadian? Both of them Canadian. Robin and Whoosh.
No. Whoosh moved to Canada. He's American. He's from, I think he's from Long Island or Rhode Island or whatever.
Oh, I don't know too much about Whoosh.
That's
and
okay.
Robin.
No, he's just a podcaster.
It's a bit slow sometimes. Like, it's difficult to like listen. He makes me fall asleep. But I don't know the guy, so I don't want to. Like, how he hardly makes jokes. He just has the same tone of voice.
Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
And then, like, there's no, like, and then he plays, in the beginning, he plays, like, this hip-hop music, which doesn't even suit him. I would expect him to play.
Hey, did you watch his Periscope today? Podtrash Periscope today from the pool center.
Oh, no.
You should, because it's about Elisa. He talks about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, it's funny.
I know I follow Elisa on her sometimes, but like I don't know. I think honestly I'm getting bored of it. I'm looking for some like new stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wish people can start creating like.
Did you do your Twitch stuff or not really? You said you were gonna do some.
I've been reading it. That's really difficult. It's for nerds, hey. And like I want to be a partner, but then I need to email them and find out if you have to put your identification and stuff in there, like your real information for you to be a partner. So I stopped there. But other than that, it's very interesting. But like I think I just need to read through it a little bit more because they strike you if you play somebody else's music.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that they do there that you basically have to first read through the stuff to actually get in there. But I just think that I need to be more careful, Casper, because I think I don't want my personality on the internet to be known as being somebody that's outrageous and reckless, and irresponsible. So I just think maybe I'd rather be known as somebody being funny than to be put in a basket with trolls and abusive stuff and like all that stuff that they were doing at GPN, like the stuff that was going on there that you were talking about.
Did you like any of those shows, Fancy, when that network was up?
I tell you, the only show that out of all those shows was that Jimmy Juice guy, that the guy in the ghettos.
Yeah.
But that's the guy I thought his show was very interesting because he spoke about his experience in the ghetto and how rough it is for him, and the way they would. That was real. Like I could listen to that for hours. Because that was somebody who was in a real situation, talking about real issues in his neighborhood. About
so
how
that was like reality. It was more.
That was more reality. That's something you could actually identify and say, oh yeah, Chicago is that bad. Oh yeah, the gun crime is high in Chicago. Oh, this guy is like an ex-gangster. Yeah, he does know about certain stuff. He lives in that neighborhood, so that's real. So you find you'd be listening to that show more, and you'd find that interesting. But the other shows, some of them were like just a bit over the cliff, I tell you. It wasn't something that you could actually sit there and watch comfortably without getting some kind of like, how do you say, like a negative vibe. You're like, oh, no, I can't listen to this shit, So I guess...
I didn't know some of the people anyway. Like, I didn't know like who Mary Carey was and that Mackenzie chick or something. Like I didn't know them. Like like I think you have to be American.
It was the
they're
wrong
like
platform for them.
Yeah, as I explained before, I think I enjoyed it, but I think they tried to grow too fast, and it's just damn expensive to do it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, but look, they were going into the more underground situation. It wasn't family orientated content. It was more like the hardcore stuff. Like it was more adult rated. That wasn't something that they could do that on Periscope comfortably, because the Periscope was changing the way it how do you say wants
But
its image.
how do you produce 3 shows? You know, you have to actually be sitting there and running all this stuff. How do you do that and work full time and have a family and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff? It's
yeah.
impossible,
So
man.
yeah. It's extremely difficult. In
Whoa.
fact, you gotta. That's something you gotta do where you actually get an investor, somebody that says, okay, I'm gonna invest in this show, and I want you guys to produce this and that. That's why was telling people that when people do these shows, they got to take it a bit more serious to find an investor so that they can continue making the shows. But what they were doing, they were ripping each other apart, talking about wars, talking about hacking, talking about death threats, suing. And when somebody who wants to sponsor or fund a program like that sees all that things, immediately the investor is going to say, no, what the fuck? These people are dangerous. I can't fund these people.
So you reckon it wasn't clean enough to...
It wasn't clean enough. You get scared. If you put fear into people, people run away. You can't get fans by putting fear into people. I mean, that's what it starts ringing alarm bells. And then the police come in and they say, well, you're scaring the community. You're making the public scared. Who are you guys? What's going on? You're live on air and you're talking about stuff like this, you know? And the US has these terrorist laws that they can just go in and arrest a whole group of people who are making all these threats. You know, governments are becoming paranoid with all this live stream.
Yeah.
I live in a country where they monitor the internet 24/7. If I say something bad here, they'll come knock at my door. I'll be fucked. So, you know what I mean? I mean, like, come on, man. I mean, like,
do you use a VPN?
No, I don't. I don't use a VPN.
Yeah, I was thinking of starting to use one. I was thinking
Yeah, if you use one, then you become a suspect. Then they say, oh, he's hiding something from us. then they look at you, they monitor you, and they say. So when I'm on my Periscope, I openly say to people, like, I got nothing to hide. You can come in here, you can come and check me and stuff like that. And sometimes my Periscopes don't make sense, but I'm actually talking to the fucking government that's monitoring the situation here. And then I tell him, no, fuck, do background checks. I got fucking nothing to hide. I'm clean as a fucking whistle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what I say. I'm in this for the creative part.
what do you think about
Not
Jeff
for-
though? Jeff, I don't know if Jeff is clean because they'll go into his house and they'll grab his computers and they'll find all those blab recordings and rabbits and...
Look, I don't know, man. You innocent until proven guilty, right? I don't know what the law
Fancy, I've
is
got-
in Australia.
Fancy, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 fucking hard drives full of fucking stuff.
You?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, that's-
don't say anything that will incriminate you. Yeah, fucking hell! Don't say anything that will get you in the shit house.
Yeah, it's all
you know.
movies and shows and stuff. Yeah.
no,
but again,
you know-
like it's still, I guess, what you would call copyrighted material.
Look, you know what they did to Kim Dot, right? You know that guy,
Who?
the fat guy.
The,
You don't know? Wait, what's his name? Kim Dot? No, what?
Kim Jong Un or whatever.
No,
you
Kim.
fucking-
No, man. The fat Austrian guy, the guy that
Oh,
lives in
Austrian
New
guy.
Zealand. Yeah, the guy that lives in New Zealand. He's called Kim or something.
Why? What they do
Yeah.
to him? What?
He was like this major computer geek. He would store all people's information on. He was running some kind of service. He's like a billionaire or something. And he bought a huge house, a huge mansion in New Zealand. He lives there. Kim.com, man. You don't know the guy.
No.
He was. Okay, well, anyway, he's quite a famous internet guy. He started off as a troll. He became this billionaire because of his websites that he used to run. But they were all like underground stuff, and he made it look like it was legit.
Mm.
They raided his house. All the military raided his house. The U.S. military raided his house, took all his stuff, froze his assets, took all his cars and what. So he's like under permanently house arrest since the last 10 years now. He's under house arrest. He can't leave his premises. He's constantly in and out of court.
Shit.
And they took all his money and they took all his data, his computers, all that shit. I think the only thing he has is his cell phone and his Twitter account. That's all. No,
what I
really,
tell
I'm
them.
not joking. I was following him on Twitter. I had to block him the other day. You know
So-
what he was talking about?
What?
He was talking about the king, the royalty in Dubai. He was fucking with them over some daughter and all that shit. And I said, whoa, I'm out of here. I blocked the guy. I blocked the fucker.
You're
I
funny.
blocked the guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
what? So you're just doing scopes now? You're not doing SoundClouds anymore. Like you drop SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, the thing is, the time is the issue. Like when I get when it comes to like 5 o'clock, I'm so fucked up tired.
So these
I'm out of
music
bed.
scopes that you're doing, are they live or are they just pre-recorded?
They live. I just sit there. Basically, I tell you, I'll tell you what I do with the music. So what I do, I don't really mean to do a periscope. I just come there, I sit down there, I play some music, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to share some chilling music with like maybe you or Agent Mud or Jeff or just people in general who basically like.
So Agent Mud
that
is still around?
He's still around. He watches, but he's got several other accounts. I mean, he thinks I don't know that, and he's probably watching us right now. You know.
Oh, he hadn't followed me on
probably-
Twitter. I was wondering why. Like we were.
He's probably still following you somewhere. He's trying to be mysterious. Look, Agent Mud, it doesn't help being mysterious anymore because
Oh, shit.
either way they're still gonna know that you're on the system because whatever account you sign into, they got their IP address, they know your location, so wherever you sign it in, then that's how they do it. So it's useless being a mystery on the internet when they know everything about us, you know? Because technology is so advanced, it's like, I don't know who these guys are trying to fool that they are invisible on the internet. Nobody's invisible today. Like, you go to the shop, right, to buy a cell phone, right? They
Yeah.
take down your details. There's a barcode on your cell phone. It is find my cell phone. You know that thing
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, you click on that, they find you. They even can phone you. Your phone get lost. They phone your phone and say, "Excuse me, that you got a stolen phone. Can you please return that to the shop?"
Fancy.
But that's what I'm just saying. That's the type of
Listen,
technology we have today.
Don't be too paranoid, all right?
Yeah, I won't. But I'm just
try
saying,
to
like,
calm down. Try. How's things
Yeah.
in your house? How's the relationship now with your father?
Yeah,
I guess has it calmed
calmed
down a
down.
bit? Yeah.
Calm down.
Are you
because
still in the little room next to the toilet or?
Oh, no. That was just temporary because I had.
Did they
I
move you
had,
back into
yeah.
the?
Yeah, I had some family members from India. They came over. They lived for like 3 months with us.
So you had to give
So-
up the room, did you?
I had to give up the room. I had to give up my internet, and I had to.
So have you got internet again now at home, or are you still using the grannies?
Yeah, no, they had to reconnect the internet because now the shop is using internet to get the TV. They got the TV from India, so they're using some kind of, I don't know if you know, but that Roku or something.
So now you've got internet back. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I got the internet back.
I thought
but,
you were still using the grannies.
She moved out. She's gone to like I don't know. Something was happening with her.
She's gone?
Somebody. Yeah, she's gone. There's somebody else living there.
You
And,
didn't impregnate her, did you?
No, she's
No?
like old, man. She's like 65 or 67. I don't know. She was old, man.
Okay.
She was just a kind old lady trying to help me out, you know. She
I
was trying
remember
to-
I remember you saying how you were worried that like if you went over there, like people would see you, going in there.
Like, with how I live in like those dormitory styled complexes.
Really close
where
together, right?
They close together, and
Yeah.
then when you look over that side, there's another section there as well with people looking into you. So it's door facing door, window
Shit.
facing window,
Bloody hell.
and the lane is in between there. That's where you come in. So when you go out, you're looking into somebody else's door.
Are they like
and,
flats? Are they like flats? Are they what we call flats?
like flats, like dormitories. You
Like
know, the dormitories?
blocks of.
Yeah, blocks of flats.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Blocks of flat, yeah,
Yep.
like that. But they don't have the tall ones. These ones are like, I think these are the ones that it's like these government houses that they don't use anymore, so they just give that to all the foreigners,
Oh, okay.
and then they make money from that.
All right, buddy. Well, we're over our time, so I have to
Okay, man.
wrap it up.
Look,
but
man.
thank
it's
you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
it was
that's
always
great. Fancy catching up. I'm disappointed that we couldn't get Jeff this weekend, but that's okay. When I get up and running, I'll try to do one every weekend.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad that.
Yeah, I had a nice break.
Yeah, it did you good because I was listening to your scope. You're talking about you putting your show back into perspective. Like you order and you want to do something more decent and more realistic, and I think that's the right way to go, actually, Casper.
Yeah, I haven't been playing any music in my podcast for a while either. Just been all talk.
Well, play one now.
No,
But
I'll play my out music on the way out. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
okay.
Fancy. We'll catch up
All right, man,
catch up during the week. All right.
Okay, man.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, thank you, Fancy. Well, that's about it for me. That's the wrong song, you idiot. Let's try this one. That's a wrap. Auzzie Rules for this week. Get the website on as soon as I can and upload this after I listen back. Thank you everyone for either live. Thank you, Fancy. Thank you, Born in Phoenix. I see you in the chat. I saw Brain pop in there. Don't know if he's watching from Twitter or something, but I saw him pop in. Thanks, Brain. Love your scopes, buddy. Quite amusing. Until next time, everybody, take care. Casper out.
Buying bread from a man in Brussels. He was 6'4" and full of muscle.